Minerva is a new vendor introduced with Steel Rain, and she is one of the most complicated features ever added to 76. But fear not, I'm about to simplify it for you. Hello everyone, welcome back to another Fallout 76 video. The new vendor Minerva came live for the very first time this past Monday, July 12th, a few days after the Steel Rain DLC got released, and in general, players have been lost, confused, and left with many questions. I don't blame you, I felt the same way during the public test server, and even in these past days I had to research a lot to make this overview. Now, where can she spawn? When is she live? What are her rotations and inventories? What discounts does she offer? Does she sell legendary cores and modules? Yeah, there is a lot to cover, as you can see, but no worries, I got the answers you have been looking for, hopefully. I went the extra mile to make sure you guys are not left in the dark regarding this. I even made a calendar, since Bethesda has not given us much to work with so far. Anyway, I want to leave a special thanks to Garust, Madocrot, and Sage. Without them, this video would probably not be as complete. With that being said, let's get into what matters. First things first, who is Minerva though? Well, she's a new Steel Rain vendor with her own schedule, rotations, and inventories. She basically recreates endgame plans from all over the wasteland and sells them for cheaper prices in comparison with the original sellers like faction vendors, for example.
Hello, Appalachia! My name's Minerva. My game's handcrafted replications of the rarest plans and recipes. Every component and mechanism recreated precisely to a fraction of 100th of a millimeter.
Moreover, she comes with her own story. There's plenty of dialogues to explore if you wish to learn more about her trading business and role as part of the Blue Ridge Caravan faction. Let's not forget about her bodyguard, Tommy 10 Toes. There's a pretty funny story behind his name, by the way, so go ahead and talk to him too. But I don't want to spoil you too much here, so go ahead and find Minerva yourself to get to know her party better, if that's what you want to do. I'm going to provide every detail you need in order for that to happen, so let's proceed. How can you find Minerva though? That's the question, isn't it? As most of you should know, she first spawned at the Foundation on July 12 for her first week of trading, but she's gone now, and that's because she's not a fixed vendor. In fact, she has a very peculiar schedule. So how can you find her exactly? Well, let's first go over her possible spawns. Every week, Minerva can appear in one of three possible spawns: Foundation, the Crater, and Fort Atlas, which are the main faction bases we have right now. In all of them, she sets camp at the very entrance from the fast travel points, as I'm showing through the footage. So it's really easy to spot her if she is already spawned. At Foundation, she appears on the right side of the bridge from the player spawn point. At Fort Atlas, she is at the right side outside the walls past the truck, and at the Crater she spawns at the left side of the spawn point towards the orange banners as shown. Now keep in mind that her schedule depends on her events, which I will talk in the next point. For now, you should remember that her spawn and these spawn times are locked to the US Eastern time zone, so if you are looking for her in the first or last day and you don't find her anywhere, there is a huge chance you are either too early or too late due to the time zone differences. Keep that in mind. Now, something else you should know is that Minerva should not spawn in the same location twice in a row. According to the quest design Carl, she will spawn in a different location next week, so that kinda confirms Minerva's spawn location is randomized, but excluding the location selected for the previous week. So next week it will select either the Crater or Fort Atlas and never Foundation because it was selected for this week. That's what we get from his statement. Also, when asked if there is a fixed location rotation, Carl did not deny or confirm it. So the first option appears to be the correct one, but I suppose only time will confirm or deny this. Besides her possible spawns, Minerva also has a dynamic schedule attached to two sale events. Minerva's Emporium and Minerva's Big Sale. During Emporium, Minerva will appear at one of the 3 spawns from Monday to Wednesday. As for the Big Sale, she will show up from Thursdays to Mondays. With this schedule in mind, it's obvious she doesn't spawn at the same time every week. So, what is her schedule exactly? Well, as far as we know, her schedule will follow the logic experienced during the Steel Rain PTS, with 3 weeks in a row where Minerva runs Emporium, and then for the 4th week, she changes to her Big Sale. After that, it's pretty much rinse and repeat. Pretty much. I took the liberty to create a calendar with her spawns and inventories already, just to help you guys keep track of her schedule. We will get back to this later. For now, let's proceed to what Minerva has to offer. Minerva is a really dynamic NPC. Besides the dynamic schedule, she also has a dynamic pool of items for sale. That's right. Every week she will come to the Wasteland with a new set of items for sale. Well, it won't always be brand new, but for the next 3 or 4 months, it should. And that's because Bethesda added 16 inventories in total, which should rotate by the order you can see in this section, which was recently data mined by Garust. There was another variation from the public test servers, data mined by him, but Bethesda has changed some of them slightly, so these are the most updated versions we have access to. It's also live in the Fallout wiki, the link is right below the video if you want to check it out later. Now, for 16 weeks straight, Minerva should offer you a different set of items every week, and then it will reset to inventory number 1. This if nothing goes wrong or gets changed, of course. For example, if Bethesda releases a new patch, there is a chance they could reset her rotation unintentionally. Anyhow, for the curious ones, the Big Sale inventories happen every 4 weeks, and they include all the previous week's inventories. It's like a merged inventory from the past 3 Emporiums. It's still not clear if further discounts will be applied to Big Sales or not, but as far as we know, they only entail a huge inventory, which, as I explained, includes the previous 3 weeks, and that's it. No further discounts. Now that you are aware of how Minerva's inventories work, let's get a bit more in depth with what items she can sell. Alright, this point should be obvious for everyone at this point, but it's still a good idea to confirm that Minerva only sells plans in exchange for gold bullion, because I know some of you guys play 76 casually and might not be very familiar with Minerva yet. So that's the main reason why I didn't rule out this point. Anyway, and in contrary to what some people have been saying, she does not only sell gold bullion plans. Now, Minerva also offers you plans that no other vendor in Appalachia has for sale. She is pretty much the endgame vendor in 76 now, and the best part is that she offers a significant and consistent discount on all her merch. So that's a plus. You should definitely ditch your regular vendors and buy as many learned plans as possible from her, because that way you can save lots of gold and buy even more plans over time with the same amount of farming. Just saying. Now, during point 4, I showed all 16 inventories Minerva can and will offer you over time, but what you might have not noticed is that many of the plans she can sell are daily operation rewards, which includes uncommon and rare drops too. This obviously includes the Brotherhood of Steel Launcher and even the Crusader Pistol, together with the Recon and Covert Armor sets. That's right, everyone, you can get all these goodies now without doing daily ops anymore. I was very surprised when I first saw this, because now players have a choice regarding daily operations. They don't have to do a single one anymore if they don't want to. Instead, they can just farm gold bullion and then find Minerva every week to collect all the existing daily ops plans, and that's it. So yeah, it seems like Bethesda listened to player feedback. I know many of you dislike daily operations. I know not everyone, it's not general, but a huge percentage does dislike to do it, mostly because it gets really grindy and repetitive. But hey, now you have a choice, an alternative. a very reliable one on top of that. And the best of it all is that if you are missing a few selected plans, Minerva is your best chance to get them. You just need to track her down for the inventory containing your missing plans, and voila! Oh, and don't forget to farm enough gold. That's very important, of course. Okay, now what about her discounts? How much does Minerva offer you? According to the Fallout Wiki, it's a consistent 25% off, but is it really? I decided to compare 10 different plans she sells with the respective plans at the original vendors to better understand her discount rates. In my first comparisons, everything looked steady, but as I compared more and more entries, I concluded that her discount rate is not exactly 25% off all the time. In average, yes, it is, but if you want to be precise and as accurate as possible, then it's another story. For example, if you compare low price plans, such as those being sold for 200 gold, these normally present a 22.5% discount. All in all, I think it's safe to say that Minerva's discount rate is minus 25%. I know it's not 100% accurate, but it is very close, plus it simplifies things a lot, so I say, let's stick with it. Next, we have a very simple and straightforward information. Some of you guys have been asking me about Minerva and if she can spawn in private worlds. And the answer is yes, of course she can. Private worlds basically mimic public servers, so it would be a bit strange if, for whatever reason, Bethesda decided to disable them there. Anyway, if you wish to take your time talking to Minerva and Tommy, as well as browse her goodies in peace, I highly advise you to do so in your own private world, if you have one, of course, and that's mostly because you could end up blocking her to other players without really having any sort of malice intentions. How comes? Well, let me explain in the next point. As every vendor in Fallout 76, Minerva can only handle one player at a time. She is no exception here, which means whenever one player is talking to Minerva or browsing her inventory while thinking about whether or not they should buy something, that normally takes a while, every other player around is left waiting in the line with the message, "Vendor is busy right now. Try again later." Literally nobody else can access or interact with Minerva when she is already busy, so you see players can easily end up griefing each other unintentionally. For example, here I took my sweet time taking cinematics while waiting for this player to get to know Minerva. He took his sweet time. I didn't mind, but I know some players do. I know it's not fun when you have to wait minutes upon minutes to access a vendor, so if you are in a hurry, it's best to server jump or simply head to your private world to avoid this type of hassle. Something else I want to make clear is about how Minerva does not sell any legendary components. During the Steel Rain public test, she had a specific inventory where she supposedly could sell you such items. But to be honest with you, I'm not even sure it went live. I never saw it or know anyone who did. However, it was part of the game files at the time, but I don't think it was ever enabled. Anyway, this entry has now been removed, and according to the data miner Garust, it no longer applies, so don't expect Minerva to suddenly start selling legendary cores or modules. I mean, we don't know about the future, but at least for now, it's not going to happen. Some of you guys have probably noticed I didn't talk about Minerva's off-week yet. One of her main rules during the public test server. She would show up for 3 Emporiums, then 1 big sale, and the 5th week would be her break. It was even part of the official patch notes, as I'm showing here, for the public test servers, of course. However, in the official server patch notes, it's nowhere to be seen. Her off week is also not mentioned anywhere in the Fallout Wiki page for Minerva, which strongly suggests Bethesda has decided to remove this rule, which, to be honest, makes sense. It was only generating confusion anyway. But hold on, there's more evidence hinting towards this. Recently, I decided to ask developers Carl and Steve about this small detail, and none of them were aware of this rule. I know this is not a confirmation, but it all hints towards one thing: Bethesda seems to have removed this rule from the equation. As for the last fact, I saved something very simple, more like a curiosity really. Minerva is a ghost NPC, which means she cannot receive any damage or engage into combat with any other NPCs, even enemies. I tried to hit her many times to test, and as shown, she is invulnerable. She does not take any damage ever, unless there is a bug. If not, it should be like this. So is Tommy and Minos, as to be expected. Anyway, I discovered something funny. Despite all of them being ghost NPCs, I cannot go through Minerva or even stand on her space, but I can when it comes to Tommy. I can basically merge with him, as shown here. He is huge, by the way. My character basically disappeared inside of him. That sounds kinda wrong. It's weird, maybe there is a huge difference between them, but still they are labeled the same. Just to let you know. Alright, we are close to the end here. Minerva is by far the most complex vendor added to 76 until date. I know her schedule and rotations make things a bit confusing, just a little bit, but hopefully this overview can simplify everything for you. Moreover, her value is insanely high, so in my view, nobody should disregard what she has to offer. She can even spare you from farming daily operations, guys, so save your gold and complete your planned collection through Minerva. Now, if you are wondering how can you track her down in an easy manner, I created a calendar for the rest of 2021, featuring her sale events, her inventory rotation, and even the big sale on the community calendar. It's based on everything we know so far. However, I cannot guarantee this calendar is 100% accurate or that things won't change over time, since while there are so many variables, plus Bethesda can change things at any time they want. But based on what we have and what we know, this is what you should expect. Period. If you wish to save the dog, the link is also in the video description below. Well everyone, that's all I have for you regarding Minerva and how she works. I hope I could deliver all the answers you were looking for. My name is Marta Branco, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't yet, so you don't miss anything. And feel free to vote in my latest poll regarding server stability. It's in my channel's community mural. Things have been really bad. I intend to make a video, so I would like to, collect your opinion on this as well. Now, I want to thank all my dear supporters for their continuous support and donations. You guys are the best. And that's it. I will see you very, very soon in the next video. Until then, take care. Adios. Bye bye.